Dr. Yunji Park sat alone in her lab, the blue light of the quantum terminal casting shadows across her tired face. She hadn't slept well in months, not since they'd buried Do-hyun. The empty cup of coffee beside her was her fourth tonight. Outside, rain fell on Seoul, drops tapping against the windows of the Global Space Initiative headquarters. Most staff had gone home hours ago. Yunji preferred the quiet of night shifts now. Fewer people meant fewer looks of pity. She rubbed her eyes and checked the time. 3:27 a.m. 1 year ago, almost to the hour, she had received the call about the Horizon mission, the first crewed expedition to Kepler 4422b, mankind's greatest achievement in space exploration, until it wasn't. System failure, they had told her. Catastrophic. No survivors. Yunji had demanded to see Do-hyun's body when they brought it back 6 months later. The agency officials had exchanged glances before one finally spoke. "Dr. Park, we advise against it. The recovery conditions were difficult." But she had insisted. She was not only Do-hyun's mother, but also the GSI's leading xenobiologist. If anyone should examine the remains, it was her. They had relented, but limited her time with the body. Now she understood why. Something had felt wrong. The burn patterns didn't match what she'd expect from the reported system failure. But grief had clouded her judgment, and she'd let it go. Yunji pulled up the mission files again, scrolling through reports she had memorized months ago. She did this often at night, looking for something she might have missed, something that would make sense of the hollow feeling that had taken root inside her. A soft beep from the quantum terminal interrupted her thoughts. An incoming message. Strange for this hour. The screen flickered, then displayed incoming transmission quantum signature verification, processing. Yunji frowned. Quantum signatures were the most secure form of identification, unique to each person's neural pattern, impossible to fake. The system took longer than usual to process, then quantum signature verified, Park Do-hyun. Her coffee cup slipped from her hand, shattering on the floor. She stared at the name, her son's name, as the message loaded. "Mom, dig up my grave. I'm not there." 32 Degren, 128.91 degrees. The timestamp showed it had been sent just minutes ago. "This isn't possible," she whispered, her hands trembling as they hovered over the keyboard. Quantum signatures couldn't be forged. Each person's was created from entangled particles mapped to their specific neural patterns. If the system verified this as Do-hyun's signature, it meant Yunji ran a diagnostic test. The system was functioning normally, no evidence of hacking or malfunction. She tried to think rationally. Do-hyun had been a quantum physicist specializing in entanglement communication. He had helped design this very system. If anyone could find a way to fake a quantum signature, it would be him. But why would someone pretend to be her dead son? The coordinates in the message pointed to a location in the East Sea, about 200 kilometers off the Korean coast. Nothing was there, as far as she knew. Yunji reached for her phone, then stopped. Who would she call? What would she say? That she received a message from her dead son asking her to dig up his grave? They would think grief had finally broken her. She pulled up satellite images of the coordinates. It showed only open water. She switched to deep sea mapping data. There was something there, almost 3,000 meters down. A structure, small, but definitely artificial, not on any official maps. Yunji's heart raced. She printed the message and coordinates, then erased all traces of it from the terminal. If this was real, if there was even a chance Do-hyun was alive. She gathered her things quickly and left the lab. The rain had stopped when she stepped outside, the air cool and fresh. Dawn was breaking over the city as she walked to her car, for the first time in a year, Yunji felt something other than grief. Hope. She drove home in silence, planning what came next. She would need to get permission to exhume the grave. Dr. Mina Lee in forensics owed her a favor. Director Kim would need convincing, but she had leverage. Most importantly, she needed to find out what was at those coordinates. As she pulled into her driveway, her phone chimed with a text message from an unknown number. "Trust no one at GSI. They know about the message. Be careful, Mum." Rain fell softly, as Yoonji stood in Director Kim's office. Large windows showed the Seoul skyline, grey and misty. Director Kim sat behind his desk reading the court order again. "You realize how this sounds, Dr. Park?" Director Jae-won Kim's voice was sympathetic but firm. He placed the document down and looked at her with concern. "I know exactly how it sounds," Yoonji replied. "But I'm not asking for permission. I'm informing you as a courtesy." Kim sighed and leaned back in his chair. "Yoonji, we've worked together for 15 years. As your friend, I'm worried about you. It's been a hard year." "This isn't grief, Jae-hwan." Yoonji pulled out her tablet and showed him the quantum signature verification. "This is real. The signature is Do-hyun's. You know as well as I do that's impossible to fake." "There must be another explanation," Kim said, but doubt showed on his face. He had helped develop the quantum signature system himself. He knew its security was absolute. "I need access to the deep-sea research vessel," Yoonji said. "After I confirm what's in the grave." Kim was silent for a long moment. "The Baekryong is scheduled for maintenance. It won't be available for weeks." "That's not true," Yoonji said flatly. "I checked the logs. It's ready to go." "I can't authorize this, Yoonji, not without more evidence." "Then I'll find someone who will." She turned to leave. "Wait," Kim called. "Give me 3 days. I need to make some calls." 3 days later, under cover of night, Yoonji stood in the cemetery. Rain had turned to a light mist. The court order had come through faster than expected, with help from an old university friend now working as a judge. 4 workers dug carefully around Do-hyun's grave marker. Dr. Mina Lee stood beside Yoonji, medical scanner ready. "Thank you for doing this," Yoonji said quietly. Mina squeezed her arm. "You were there for me when my husband died. Besides, I'm curious. These readings from the coordinates you sent me, they don't make sense." The workers reached the coffin and prepared to lift it. "It's too light," one worker said, surprise in his voice. Yoonji's heart raced as they raised the coffin and placed it on the ground. The cemetery was silent except for the soft beep of Mina's scanner. "No organic material detected," Mina whispered. With shaking hands, Yoonji opened the coffin. Inside wasn't Do-hyun, but a masterfully crafted simulacrum filled with weighted materials. It looked like her son, but the scanner showed it was made of synthetic materials designed to decompose at the same rate as a human body. "This isn't possible," Mina said, scanning the fake body again. "The funeral. I saw him." "Ah, you saw this," Yoonji said, her voice surprisingly calm. "We all did." Later that night, in Mina's private lab, they examined the simulacrum more closely. It was perfect down to birthmarks and the small scar on Do-hyun's left hand from a childhood accident. "This technology, it's beyond anything I've seen," Mina said. "The tissue structure, the cellular mimicry. It would fool any standard autopsy." "But not a full xenobiological workup," Yoonji said. "That's why they limited my time with the body. They knew I would discover it wasn't human." "Who are they?" Mina asked. "That's what I need to find out." Yoonji left the lab and went straight to the secure data center. Using Do-hyun's quantum signature, she accessed the hidden coordinates from his message. The security system accepted it immediately, opening files she never knew existed. Inside was the truth. Classified mission logs, sealed by the highest levels of government. The horizon had not been destroyed. Communication had simply stopped. No debris was ever found, no bodies were ever recovered. The report included images of what lay at the coordinates in the East Sea, an underwater facility, built in secret 10 years ago. Its purpose was listed only as contingency research. Yoonji downloaded everything to a secure drive, her mind racing. As she was about to leave, she found one more file, hidden deeper than the others. It contained a single video. The timestamp showed it was recorded 6 months ago, when the bodies had supposedly been recovered. She played it. The video showed a sterile white room. In it, technicians worked around 6 large tanks filled with cloudy liquid. Floating in each tank was what looked like a human body in various stages of development. The camera zoomed in on one tank, the face becoming clear. It was Do-hyun's, a voice off-screen said. "Simulacrum Batch 3 complete, ready for processing and delivery." Yoonji stared at the screen, her hands gripping the desk. They faked their deaths, she whispered. But why? Her phone vibrated with another text from the unknown number. Now you know. Come find me. Be careful who you trust. The small research vessel cut silently through the dark waters of space. It wasn't built for deep space travel, but Captain Suho, Kang had made modifications. The ship approached Neptune's orbit, its engines humming quietly. We shouldn't be here, Captain Suho Kang whispered as their unauthorized ship approached the coordinates from Do-hyun's message. His hands moved nervously. Over the controls. If GSI catches us, we'll lose more than our jobs. Neither should my son, Yunji replied. She stood behind him, watching the vast darkness of space through the main viewport. Her face showed no fear, only determination. 3 weeks had passed since she found the empty coffin. Getting off Earth undetected had been difficult. Director Kim had placed her on medical leave after she showed him the evidence. Her access codes were revoked. Security followed her home, but Mina had helped. So had Captain Kang, an old friend of Do-hyun's from the academy. They borrowed. Kang insisted it wasn't stealing this small research vessel. The official logs showed it in for repairs. Approaching final coordinates, Kang said. Triton is just ahead. Neptune's largest moon loomed before them, its surface icy and pale. The ship's sensors began beeping rapidly. That's strange. Kang frowned at his screen. There's something there, but the sensors can't lock onto it. The readings keep changing. Let me see. Yunji moved closer. The sensor display showed a structure. In Triton's shadow. It appeared and disappeared as if it wasn't fully in their reality. Can we get closer? Kang guided the ship forward slowly. As they rounded Triton, they saw it. A massive structure unlike anything human-made. It shimmered with a blue-green light, its shape constantly shifting. What is that? Kang whispered. I don't know, Yunji replied. But I think it's where they took my son. The structure seemed to notice them. A beam of light shot out, scanning their small vessel. Should we run? Kang's hand hovered over the engine controls. Before Yunji could answer, the ship stopped responding. The lights flickered, then went out. They felt a gentle pull as the structure drew them in. I guess we're going inside, Yunji said strangely, calm. An opening appeared in the structure's side. Their ship was pulled into a vast hangar. Inside they saw other vessels, some human, including what looked like parts of the Horizon ship, and others of completely alien design. It's some kind of collection, Kang said, his voice filled with wonder and fear. The ship set down gently. Outside, the hangar was pressurized and filled with breathable air, according to their sensors. We should wait for them to contact us. Kang suggested. No, Yunji stood up, checking her oxygen mask just in case. I've waited a year already. They exited their ship carefully. The hangar was silent and vast. The air was breathable but had a strange, sweet smell. They walked toward what seemed like a door. It opened as they approached, revealing a corridor that lit up as they entered. The walls were covered in moving patterns that seemed almost alive. It's like the whole place is conscious, Kang whispered. They followed the corridor to a large circular room. In the center was what looked like a control panel, but without buttons or screens. Just a smooth surface that glowed with the same blue-green light. Yunji approached it slowly. As her hand hovered over the surface, it responded, creating a holographic display. The images made no sense at first. Symbols and patterns she couldn't recognize. Then suddenly, the display changed, as if adapting to her. The symbols transformed into something she could understand. It's learning our language, she said, or reading my mind somehow. The alien interface revealed files, data, records, spanning not just years but centuries, Earth history, human development, technological advances, all observed, recorded, analyzed. They've been watching us, Kang said, for hundreds of years. Yunji searched through the files until she found records of the Horizon mission. She played the recording. The video showed the Horizon ship being intercepted near Jupiter. A beam of light, similar to what had captured them, froze the ship. Then figures appeared inside, tall, slender beings with skin that shifted colors like the structure itself. The crew was taken, still alive. The aliens collected samples, blood, tissue, hair. Then the recording showed a lab. In it, the aliens grew the simulacrums, perfect copies of the crew made from the genetic samples, empty shells with no consciousness, the bodies sent back to Earth, Yunji whispered. They were never real. More files revealed the truth about the aliens who called themselves the Nerim. They were ancient, having evolved millions of years before humans. They had been observing Earth since the first civilizations. And they were afraid. Humanity's rapid technological development in the last century had alarmed them. The Horizon mission, with its new faster-than-light drive, had crossed a line. The Nerim feared humans would soon join them in deep space. They weren't ready to share the stars. But where are they keeping the real crew? Kang asked. Where's Do-hyun? Before Yunji could search further, the room darkened. A new hologram appeared, a message simple and direct. Dr. Park, follow the light, your son is waiting. A path lit up on the floor leading to another door. It could be a trap, Kang said. Of course it is, Yunji replied, already walking toward the door. But we're already caught. Yunji sat in her small apartment staring at the strange device on her coffee table. It had been 3 months since she and Captain Kang returned from the Nerim outpost near Neptune. 3 months since she had seen Do-hyun, thin and changed but alive, working with other Horizon crew members in secret. Their technology is beyond us, Mom, he had told her in their brief meeting. But they have a weakness. They can't understand human creativity. It confuses their systems. The Nerim had allowed her to see him for only 10 minutes, as a gesture of what they called species compassion. Then they had returned her and Kang to Earth with the small device and a warning. Humans were not ready for deep space. The Horizon crew would remain as study subjects. Rain tapped against the windows as night fell over Seoul. Yunji had been placed under house arrest, officially for mental health observation. Her apartment was monitored. Captain Kang had disappeared entirely. The device suddenly lit up with a soft blue glow. Yunji quickly turned off all lights and covered the windows. She had discovered that the Nerim monitoring systems had blind spots. They could track technology, but not understand human deception. The device projected a hologram into the air. At first it was just static. Then it formed into a fragmented message. Do-hyun's voice came through, broken but clear enough. Mom, resistance, 26 of us, learned their systems. Weakness is imagination. Can't predict us. Preparing escape. Earth needs to be ready. The message repeated once, then the device went dark. Yunji sat in the darkness, her heart racing. 26 survivors. A resistance. An escape plan. Earth needed to be ready. She knew what she had to do, despite the risks. The next morning, she waited until her daily health check from the government agents. When they left, she slipped the device into her pocket and climbed out her bathroom window. The monitoring systems would show her still in bed, thanks to a simple trick with her heating blanket and a timer. 2 hours later, she walked into the small coffee shop near the Han River. The man sitting alone by the window was Commander Hyunwoo John, head of Earth's Defense Force. He had been Do-hyun's mentor at the academy. You look terrible, he said as she sat down. House arrest doesn't include spa treatments, she replied. You know I'm taking a huge risk meeting you, John said quietly. Director Kim has labeled you unstable and potentially dangerous. Kim knows. The truth, Yunji said. He's covering it up. What truth? Yunji placed the device on the table and slid it toward him. This recorded a transmission I received last night. John looked skeptical but took the device. What am I looking at? A communication technology about 200 years ahead of ours. She showed him how to activate it. The hologram appeared, barely visible in the daylight, but the audio played clearly through a small earpiece John wore. His face changed as he listened to Do-hyun's voice. When it finished, he stared at Yunji. You're telling me your supposedly dead son is leading a resistance against aliens who've been watching us for centuries? He asked incredulously. Yes, she said simply. And they'll be coming home, with the Nerim right behind them. John ran his hand through his grey hair. Even if I believe this, which I'm not saying I do, what exactly do you expect me to do? Prepare Earth's defenses. The Nerim technology is advanced, but Do-hyun says they have weaknesses. And why would these aliens care about us? John asked. If they're so advanced, why not just destroy us? They don't want to destroy us, Yunji explained. They want to control us, keep us contained. They fear our potential. John looked out the window, watching people cross the bridge. Do you have any proof beyond this message? I have data from their outpost. Captain Kang downloaded it before we left. She placed a small data chip on the table. It shows centuries of observation. They've influenced our development, Hyunwoo. Slowed us down when we got too close to technologies they feared. John took the chip carefully. If this is true, it changes everything we know about human history. It changes everything about our future too, Yunji said. Do-Yun and the others are coming home. We need to be ready to fight. Fight an enemy centuries ahead of us technologically? John shook his head. That's suicide. Not if we use their weakness, Yunji leaned forward. The Narium think logically, perfectly. They can't understand human imagination, creativity. It's like chaos to them. That's how Do-Hyun and the others formed their resistance. They did things the Narium couldn't predict. John was silent for a long moment. I'll need to verify all this before I take it up the chain. We don't have much time, Yunji said. How long? The message didn't say, but knowing my son, he already has a plan in motion. As they left the coffee shop separately, Yunji felt someone watching her. Across the street stood a man in a dark suit, too still, too perfect. His eyes followed her with an inhuman focus. The Narium had human-looking agents on Earth. Another thing Do-Hyun had warned her about. They would be coming for her now. Yunji walked quickly toward the subway station. She had done what she needed to do. Now she had to stay alive long enough to see her son again. Behind her, the man in the suit began to follow. The emergency alarm blared through the underground command center. Red lights flashed across screens showing Earth's orbital space. Commander Hyunwoo Jeon leaned forward, his eyes fixed on the main display. Report, he ordered. Sir, the orbital defense platforms detected the approaching ships first. One small vessel pursued by 3 massive carriers, the young officer said. They appeared out of nowhere, just beyond lunar orbit. 6 months had passed since Yunji's warning. 6 months of secret preparations, building new weapons based on the stolen Narium data. Earth's governments had been skeptical at first, but the evidence was too strong to ignore. The command center buzzed with tense activity. Officers moved quickly between stations. On the main screen, 4 ships approached Earth, 1 small vessel flying at incredible speed, with 3 much larger ships in pursuit. They're broadcasting an Earth frequency, a technician shouted suddenly. Audio coming through. The room fell silent as a voice filled the speakers, breaking through static. This is Commander Park Do-Yun of the Horizon mission. We're coming. Home with guests? Commander John looked across the room where Yunji stood, her hands pressed to her mouth. Tears ran down her face. It's him, she whispered. It's really him. All defense systems to ready status, John ordered. But hold fire on the lead ship. Prepare landing zone 3 for arrival. Sir, the 3 larger vessels are accelerating, another officer reported. They're charging weapons. Now we see if our new toys work, John said grimly. Activate the shield grid. Around the planet, hidden platforms powered up, creating an energy field that rippled like water in sunlight. The lead Narium ship fired a bright beam of energy that struck the shield. The shield absorbed it, then flashed brightly. Direct hit. Shield holding at 84%, an officer called out. Return fire, John ordered. All batteries focus on the lead ship. Earth's new weapons, built using the Narium technology Do-Hyun had secretly transmitted over the past months, fired back. Beams of blue energy shot from ground installations and orbital platforms. The lead Narium ship's shields flickered, then failed. Its sleek hull cracked under the assault. Sir, Do-Hyun's ship is requesting emergency landing clearance, the communications officer said. Their engines are failing. Clear all air traffic, John ordered. Get them down safely. The small ship, a stolen Narium scout vessel according to the data, streaked through Earth's atmosphere trailing fire. Its landing was rough but controlled, touching down on the special platform built just for this moment. Yunji rushed from the command center, ignoring security protocols. John followed her, barking orders as he went. Status on the Narium vessels. 1 disabled, the other 2 engaging our orbital platforms, came the reply in his earpiece. Our shields are holding, sir. Outside, the day was clear and bright. Military vehicles surrounded the landing area, where the alien ship smoked and hissed as it cooled. Yunji stood at the edge of the platform, held back by soldiers. 6 months of frantic preparation culminated as the stolen alien ship's hatch finally opened with a hiss of escaping air. A ramp extended to the ground. Yunji stood on the landing platform, barely breathing as the hatch opened. A figure appeared in the doorway, silhouetted against the ship's interior lights. Do-hyun stepped out, older than she remembered, a scar running down his face. His uniform was strange, part Horizon mission gear, part something entirely alien. Behind him came the remaining crew, carrying devices that hummed and glowed with energy. The soldiers raised their weapons instinctively. "Stand down," John ordered. Do-hyun walked forward, his eyes fixed on his mother. Yunji broke through the line of soldiers and ran to him. They embraced in silence, holding each other tightly. "I knew you were alive," she whispered against his shoulder. "I never doubted you would." "Find me," he replied. Commander John approached them. "Commander Park, welcome home. We need to get you and your crew to safety. The battle isn't over." As if to emphasize his point, a bright flash lit up the sky as one of the Narration ships exploded in orbit. "We brought you something," Do-hyun said. He turned and nodded to his crew. They brought forward devices that looked like small crystals, the key to their communication network, and the weakness in their defense systems. "They never understood us," Do-hyun said, still holding his mother close. "They studied us for so long but missed the most important thing about humans." "What's that?" Yunji asked. "We don't follow the expected path, and we never, ever give up on family." He looked up at the sky. "They thought they could predict everything we would do. Their whole society is built on perfect prediction. But humans are messy, creative. We do things that make no logical sense." "Like risking 26 lives to save billions?" Jeon asked. "Like a mother who wouldn't give up even when she saw her son's body," Do-hyun answered, looking at Yunji. Above them, Earth's combined fleet, enhanced with the technology Do-hyun's team, had smuggled out piece by piece over months of secret transmissions, engaged the Narration ships in the first battle of a new age for humanity. "We have a lot of work to do," Do-hyun said, watching the battle unfold above. "This is just the beginning. But we're together," Yunji said, holding her son's hand. "That's what matters."